Welcome to Real Leaders with Roshini, the podcast with real talk, real questions, real insight, and we hope real inspiration. For real. We're here at Capitol Grill in downtown Minneapolis, and my guest today is Tony Sanneh, CEO of the Sanneh Foundation. It started in 2003, that's when he started it, but he's really been full force behind it ever since his retirement from pro soccer in 2010. We'll get to soccer in a bit, but Tony, welcome. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
So what makes you think, you're playing pro soccer, I'm going to start a foundation? I mean, how does that even get into your head?
Well, after the World Cup, Mayor Kelly had Tony Sanneh Day, and a young lady from one of the universities just came up to me and said, can you help me start a soccer camp? And I'm like, what can I do? And she said, well, can you talk to the city? Because they obviously like you. So I
Smart young lady.
So I talked to the parks and I gave her some money and some balls, and she had soccer clinics for after school. And I just started to think, that's pretty easy. And so let me start an actual organization so it's set up to be able to do this. And then I thought I'd incubate it while I was playing, and just more and more opportunities kept coming.
And talk about opportunities. You started with a $60,000 budget and one program, and now you're $3.5 million plus dollars and 6 programs in the United States, internationally. How does something like that happen in pretty much a short amount of time?
Well, I think, one, everybody loves kids. Two, I didn't start this with the answer. I wanted to build an organization based on relationships. So I really followed the community need. And then I think the community really got behind me and the organization because they thought we were authentic and real, and we've made mistakes, but they knew our heart was in the right place. And so I think the mixture of all that together was a good storm for us. And, we work hard and keep doing what we're doing, and we've had good results.
Tony, how would you put into a nutshell what your foundation does?
Well, our mission is to empower, improve, unite, and we do it in 3 spaces. We do it through education, health and wellness, and building community. So that'd be in a nutshell.
Focused on kids.
Focused on kids.
Which also took you to the role of sports envoy for the Sports United Division of the U.S. State Department's Bureau of Educational and Cultural Affairs. I'm just going to call you a sports envoy for the State Department. That's a big title. What do you do in that role?
In that role, and it was really created by Secretary Clinton, and it was to create diplomacy using sports and education to empower women across the globe. And I don't know initially if they knew the kind of impact it would have, but when you go to other countries and offer and learn from them, but also teach, you start a friendly place for a dialogue, and in a lot of places it's helped our politicians meet and communicate, which dialogue promotes understanding. But really it's empowering women and girls through sport internationally, using sports and education and best practices. What
are some of the life lessons that you have taken from, playing in the World Cup, from being in professional soccer and having that high visibility?
One, I count my blessings. I've been in a lot of different places and I've seen a lot of things. 2, I've learned that kids all over the world, no matter in what condition they are in, just want positive interactions, and every kid anywhere in the world has a smile that will light up your world if you give them the right attention the right way. And that's kind of what keeps me going.
Yeah, well, that's a really big thing. Where does this stop? I mean, what's your vision for your foundation? What's your vision for how you're empowering these young people?
Well, I work with my board of directors to give me some direction. Obviously, I want to be able to support kids in the community here and internationally, and I do some stuff on my own that the foundation doesn't support. But I just want to be able to, make a difference and create something that's sustainable, and work with young people that when they grow up are going to keep working with other young people so that less kids are falling through the cracks.
Give us a visual. You've traveled all over the globe for your foundation, for the State Department. Give us a visual that really brings it home. I mean, we are very blessed in the United States for the most part. We're blessed in the state of Minnesota and the Midwest. We have food. Most of us have our basic needs taken care of. But how can you help people understand that that's just not the case in every part of the world?
Yeah. Well, two stories just on kind of what we have. And one of them is really sad. And, like 4 years ago, we had like a 6-year-old, with our girls program in Haiti that came in, and I mean, their feet are smaller than the palm of my hand, and they got their first pairs of soccer shoes. And to see girls that normally didn't even have sandals to get a pair of soccer shoes, and this young lady who I gave her first pair of shoes, 4 years ago, passed away this last week. And gang violence is so bad in that area that nobody would leave the house. So she had a fever, but they couldn't take her to the doctor because it was too dangerous to go outside. So that's an example
heartbreaking
of conditions that some people are living with. And I just got back from 2 weeks in Kenya. And probably coached over 1,000 kids in the 2 weeks' time. And I would say probably 120 of them had shoes. And the rest of them, I mean, we were up in the mountains in the villages and, with mostly girls and wearing skirts and uniforms and everything on the ground and 100% bare feet. And they loved every opportunity. I mean, they're playing on rocky fields, in 105-degree heat, and they were just so excited that they had a ball and some instruction. So we do take it for granted what we have here, and it is the little things that light up a person's life.
Right. It sounds like you brought them joy, but they brought that to you also.
Yeah, I mean, those working as a sports ambassador is special for me because most days here I wear a suit and tie. I'm in offices raising money or in program development, so I don't get a lot of direct service opportunities. When I do travel, I actually get to work one-on-one with kids and actually teach and coach, and that's what really inspires me and keeps me going. And to see those smiles, and obviously people say I'm a big kid. You can tell I'm enjoying myself, so it no longer becomes work anymore.
I want to give a plug for your organization, Sanneh Foundation. How can people find you? People all over the world can listen to this podcast and maybe donate or volunteer.
It's thesannehfoundation.org. Just go to our website and there's information, and we would love your talents, your time, your money, and your big ideas.
All right. So speaking of big ideas, you, as I understand it, I didn't know you at the time. Well, I may have a big party guy. You enjoy parties. You're a good-looking guy. Lots of women, in the world look at you. Maybe have dated you. How do you get all of that? Hey, this is real talk on Real Leaders with Roshini, Tony. So you should have expected this, by the way. That I was going to bring this up. How do you kind of balance that? Because you're not going to just become a monk when you start this foundation. You're doing these great things for kids. How do you balance all that?
Well, this is real talk. I tell people I'm the most selfish person in the world because I learned a long time ago, and I always say this to people: what's the worst 30 minutes of your life? Have you ever taken a car ride with someone that's completely pissed off and they're quiet and you can't turn the channel? It's just uncomfortable. So I know that if I'm in a room with people and making sure people are having a good time, I'm going to have a good time. So I've tried to surround myself with positive people, and when not, try to make it a positive experience. And so I think I would like to say I have a reputation for being a fun person. I hope it's not fun wild, but just fun enjoyable. And, this past weekend I went and played tennis and relaxed with, 4 friends, and it was just good time together. So
Which you need to have.
And so, it's a balancing act. When you're in public, you're also building a brand, right? So you want people to have a good time around you, and you want people to be associated with you because they think they're going to have a good time around you. So the culture of our foundation, even, we try to make every experience, whether you're a kid or an adult, you've been to our gala, it's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be a good time. We want you walking out of there saying, even if you didn't listen to anything, like, I'm glad I went because I enjoyed it. Once you enjoy yourself, then we give you the message and hopefully you buy in. So on a personal level, I've just tried to enjoy life. I've had my challenges and my successes dating people, and it's hard when you retire at 40 and you come back to somewhere you're haven't been there for 20 years, so you have to explore the landscape
and really start something new
and as well as recreate yourself from an athlete to a professional, and how people see you, and stereotypes of an athlete and a young black leader. So it's been a challenge, and but I do make sure that I have a good time no matter what I'm doing, whether that's with kids, whether that's in the classroom, whether that's in a board meeting, or eating dinner with my friends, or if I'm on a date.
Well, and I have to ask this, and there's no judgment. You can answer it any way you want. Is Tony Sanneh a confirmed bachelor?
Yes, I am a confirmed bachelor.
All right. Well, I think it's great that you can just honestly answer that question. No judgment from me.
What does that mean, though?
Well, to me, I read that as you probably won't get married to one woman or one person for the rest of your life.
Well, then I would say I'm not I believe that
now you are.
Well, I would say that I'm not in a committed relationship right now, so I would hope, and I want to spend, my days, and, life's always been better when I've been in a committed relationship and had a partner that you can go home to and share stuff with. Obviously, it's a balancing act with your work and your life, and, I'm maybe not, I've heard this a lot, that I'm a better friend than a boyfriend. So, things to work on, and to try to be better in relationships, and, to basically to give and to get. But I guess that's what life's about.
All right. If you had a theme song, Tony Sanneh, what would it be?
If I had a theme song, Lou Rawls has this song called Groovy People. I don't know if you know Groovy People.
Yes.
I like positivity. I like being around fun people. So I don't know if you know that song, Groovy People.
Yeah, I do. And it seems to jive with what you're saying about bringing joy and wanting your organization to also have a positive impact on the world.
Yep.
Yeah. What's your advice to people out there who are trying to build a brand, but they've got, they want to have joy, they want to have fun, but it is also hard work?
Well, I think you have to, prioritize, and you have to be willing to work hard. And you have to, figure out what your values are and what your brand, and then display them. If you want to be a jerk, then make sure you're a jerk to everybody. But if you want to be a nice guy and enjoyable, or build a brand, I believe in positivity. So I would say, the more you can create positive experiences with those around you, the more opportunities, you'll have with them. I mean, people will call you back, and people will respect you. And even when people don't agree with you, they're like, I like that guy, so I'm going to support him. I'll take a chance. Because I think, and I just read this, when you meet somebody, the first two things are like, do you trust them and what they can do for you? And so I think trying to build that trust is really important.
So important. Well, that is a great note to end on. Tony Sanneh, just a thrill and a pleasure chatting with you, finding out more of the things that make you tick. Thanks for being with me on Real Leaders with Roshini.
Thank you. I had a great time.
Until next time, keep it real.